es la voz de LA. It's la cuna galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell a hater shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans and all you MLS fans wherever you may be. Thank you once again for hanging out today. The LA Galaxy are finally on the board as they got their first point of the MLS season after 4 match days by earning a 1-1 draw away to the Portland Timbers on Sunday, March 16th. The same lineup that won qualification to the quarterfinals of the Champions Cup started the road match against Portland, and they once again gave the team stability, energy, and improved play. Needed to get a result on the day. We'll talk about what went right, where the team was lacking, what we learned from Greg Vanney's lineup, how LA finally caught a break, and what 2 positive results in a row mean for the Galaxy now. And we'll broach that all with our special guest, MLS.com journalist Justin Ruderman. Plus, it was a night of firsts for many Galaxy players in the draw versus Portland. All that and more coming up tonight on this edition of La Cuna Galaxiana. But before we go any further, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Folks, my name is Robert Jalon. You can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune and at Extra Time Talk. And you can find me online at El Escudero, the LA, should you choose. And, of course, right next to me, as usual, the peanut butter and my jelly, el gitano perdido y el yerno guapo, el one and only papá de Natita, Ananda Kirana. Papa, ¿cómo estamos?
Oh, man. Good now that we got points on the board, right? Estoy bien. Had a nice weekend. Man, we missed you on Sunday, Papa. We had a nice day out watching the G's. Watching, we were with Primo Alex watching a little Barcelona, a little Lakers. So it was a nice little day out of sports, and
a nice sporting day. A
nice sporting day. I guess the G's, well, not. I mean, couple of results there, and then the G's just as I put in the thumbnail of this video, I would say escaped with a point, a hard fought point, but definitely a point that was much needed. And well. I'm going to get to that right now because my one-word match reaction pop-up for this is Houdini. It's Houdini, man.
Okay.
We got out of there. We escaped it like magic. Hey, we'll take that point and run with it. That's all I'm going to say. There were some good things about this game, but to say that we didn't have a slice of luck, I would say you're kidding yourselves or you're not being true to yourself, I guess is what I would say.
Well, maybe it was the luck of the Irish, but yeah, man, I missed the sports day. I was the Nolan Dark Knight was playing at the theater down the street, and so
that's a good movie.
Baby girl and I we made a day of it, and we bought these tickets like a month and a half ago, and so we were like, oh snaps, we're supposed to see the Dark Knight, and it was baller. I mean, it was just as good as I remember it. And it was on the big screen. And yeah, so like I said, we made a day of it. And, we snuck food into the movie and stuff like that, because that's how us Ecuadorians do. We're not paying $32 for no personal pan pizza, man. That's his folly. Like Lil Dicky said out there, save that money. But anyway, man, yeah, it was after the G's game, it was that the highlight, the Nolan and then getting a point was Okay, I can live with that. I can breathe with that. But yeah, my one word match reaction for this week is actually two words. You better. And that's basically like you better go on and do something. And the team finally did, man, because they were staring down the barrel of that worst of tying that worst start ever in team history, right? So, and this team is too good, and you know there's too much quality on this team to kind of set those records. I mean, they've already set a couple of unwanted ones, so you know it's good that they were able to get it out of there with a point. And like you said, like you know what was yours? Bandolismo,
No,
robbery.
Houdini. I probably should have said Alcatraz, like whatever, man. Whatever is a pure escape,
Andalos.
como magia.
Yeah, no.
Leo said finally. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So, I mean, again, the fact that I saw we'll get into the call. Don't worry. We will deep dive into that topic, guys. Don't you guys worry. But the fact that like even all these Galaxy chats that I'm in were saying, bro, like that was super sketch.
Yeah, Raul G says, how cool was it to see such a strong presence from our G's
Yeah,
in
that was
P-Town?
cool.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic. You could be heard if you were out there. Good on you. It was really funny because I guess in some Portland chat and in some Portland citizen chat, they were like, who are all these people marching, you know, from like, you know, the fans that are marching to the match. And I guess they got labeled like the Proud Boys or something like that. Like people thought it was like yeah, man. So there was definitely a mistaken case of identity there. No, it was just LA Galaxy fans out there to support their team. And yeah, no, it was awesome seeing them on TV, awesome hearing them. And you know, it's awesome always to see you guys in chat. So thank you guys so much for doing what you do. You guys just a short time ago got us to 500 subscribers, and that gave us the chance to go ahead and do a little something called super chats. So if you are so inclined and you want to get something off your chest, a comment or a question, go ahead and hit up that super chat. Hopefully you are lucky number 6 to signify those 6 LA Galaxy titles. We've had fantastic questions and comments already from you guys, so go ahead and keep it up. Thank you so much. And then go ahead and keep on telling your folk about this humble little podcast. Two knuckleheads just talking about you know, wings and beer turned into this vibrant community that we love hanging out with. So go ahead and keep on inviting people into that community. Those tios and those tias and those eloteros and those chocolateros y lecheros, all of them. Go ahead and tell them what's up. And of course, because he's going to be too humble to talk about it himself, Anandita Kirana and El Profe Alex Ruiz dropped Los Galacticos episode 5. This time it's worrying. So this is worrying. This is the kind of the midfield conundrum that was facing Greg a couple of games ago. And it looks like he might have solved it, but we'll get into that a little bit more in a moment. And yeah, man, I think before we go ahead and do those announcements, go ahead and do your last little bit, and we'll get the show on the road.
Yeah, really quick, guys. So
Stockholm.
Yeah, you guys can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana per the usual. And of course, guys, you can always, if you want to know when we're on, go ahead and hit that notification bell once you're subscribed, so that you guys know when we're on live, like we are right now. But usually Mondays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. That's where you can catch us. That's the main pod. You can also catch some other stuff like Los Galacticos. Robert might be working on a thing or two, just some other extra content. You guys can always find out when that is, either by hitting that notification bell on YouTube or following us on all of our socials at La Cuna Galaxiana. And of course, papá, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. Eso es número 180, papá. You know what that means? That means what we are 20 away from 200, which if my maths are correct, that would be 5 weeks from today. And I know we've been talking in the background. I'm doing something a little special for episode 200. So stay tuned, guys. Again, follow us on our socials at La Cuna Galaxiana or hit that notification bell.
or stalk Ananda and you'll find out all about it. Now I have something in the bag for 200, and I've already floated it out there to the person involved. And so hopefully that it comes off. I know you guys are really going to enjoy it. So yeah, hopefully we can put it together for you. Leo, thank you, man. It says nice job on the Galaxy vs CS cinematic recap. I literally jumped up during doing the DiCaprio point at the screen. Bro, I didn't even realize it was me. I just saw a comment and I was tagged in it, and I was like, why? I wonder why I'm being tagged in this. And then like my wife walked by, she's like, that's you. And I was like, oh, I guess I should like listen to myself once in a while. So
that was awesome.
I
That was
know
awesome, man.
I know what I sound like.
That was
but yeah,
awesome.
no, it was really fun for me too, just seeing it and be like, oh, I know that guy. That's me. So yeah, man, thanks so much, Leo. So yeah, let's get into these announcements. GCam, I am so down. Live pod at Denny's for 200. I've always wanted to recreate the famous Denny's death metal or hardcore band video, and so I mean it'll be my chance to say, what's up, Denny's? What the F is up? So yeah, maybe for if we get a little bit of a sponsorship funds from Denny's, we'll go ahead and do that, but yeah, we might have to get a little bit of sponsorship from this man, because this one is going to sell fat right here. Joseph Painso just announced that he is dropping his first EP. It's called Emergency, and it drops on the 4th of April, guys. So go ahead and support your favorite Ghanaian winger and Afrobeats artist by picking this one up. He says that this is from some cool melodies to some danceable beats. This is my first EP, which reflects passion both on and off the field. So I know I've been messing with that Unbreakable real heavy, with Blessings real heavy. I know all you guys in MLS Cup time we're spinning those real heavy as well. Go ahead and show this man some love. Pick this one up. Good on him that he's wearing green, because it is St. Paddy's Day. So happy St. Paddy's Day to all you LA Galaxy fans. Hopefully you're wearing green. I know I am. I wasn't earlier, and I got punched by my wife. She's been holding on to that one for a while, apparently. Might get a bruise. But happy St. Paddy's Day to all you G's that are of Irish descent. Shout out to King Kino out there doing big things in management these days. But, he was pretty much like, I think, Ireland, and I think King Kino. So shout out to him. And a happy birthday to Isaiah Parente. He turned 25 yesterday. Was it yesterday, Ananda?
I think it might have been yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, yesterday. So happy birthday to Isaiah Parente. That's the 25th one. And honestly, it's like we were saying the other day, Ananda. I mean, this is a guy, that has been talked about as a young player, but I mean, he's got some games under him. He's seasoned, so shout out to him. Hopefully he was surrounded by friends and family and he had a beautiful day. And a shout out as well to the 5 Galaxy Academy players called up for international duty. The LA Galaxy's Harbor Miller, Ruben Ramos Jr., Jose Pepe Magana, Eric Preston, and Enrique Quique Martinez have all been called up. Miller and Ramos Jr., Miller for the U18s, Ramos Jr. for the U20s, Pepe Magana as well for the U.S. men's national team. I think that's going to be a fine young defender, man. And then Preston and Martinez were both called to the U17 teams. They'll be traveling to Costa Rica for that camp, which is culminating with 2 matches against Costa Rica on the 22nd and 24th. Miller and Magana will be joining the U.S. men's national team U18s for their training camp in Marbella, Spain, from March 17th to the 25th. And then they'll go ahead and play matches against Morocco and Norway. And then Ramos Jr. is going to be with the U.S. men's U20 team. They'll be in El Albir, Spain, from March 17 to the 25th. They'll be playing Mexico on March 22nd and Japan on March 24th. And guys, we've told you guys about this one a couple times. Go ahead and support the Podfather, please. This man never asked for anything, and he's asking for your help now for supporting the OCME. 40 years, 40K for 40 years campaign. They keep all the wonderful train club activities going. So if you want to help them keep their track, engines, and cars running, and plus go ahead and help the Podfather out, and this is also a tax write-off. Go ahead and hook up the OCME, and also go out there for a fun day. Josh says that it's one of those unforgettable experiences, and the Podfather's not wrong. So go ahead and go hit that one up. Guys, the next home match on 3/29. You guys can also go ahead and check out the equipment sale. That's going to be on 3/29, like I mentioned, for that match against Orlando City at home. It'll be located at Soccer Fest. If you are a season ticket member, you'll get in a half hour earlier than everybody else, at 5:30, that is, and then general admission is at 6. All proceeds go to the LA Galaxy Foundation on this one as well. So 2 good causes, guys, and you come up on a lot of cool Galaxy stuff. So make sure and get out there and check out the equipment sale. I have some finds from there, and stuff that I love wearing to this day. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Shout out to the Kingswell Skate Stop Shaft and the homie Ronnie, who was super nice to us yesterday. We went into Kingswell Skate Shop. Ananda was on that shoe hustle, and so we got to check out this belleza of a t-shirt with El Mickey Mouse kicking the ball here, kicking un golazo here through the Galaxy crest. Like I said the other day, Ananda, I mean, I'm gonna hit that gym real hard, eat my protein and slim down, and then get into this shirt, man, because this one is definitely a must cop pretty soon. Shout out again to Ronnie.
Very nice. Yeah, shout out Ronnie and Kingswell, man. You guys are awesome.
Ronnie came correct too. I was wearing my Galaxy hoodie, and he was like, yo, that's right, 6-time champions. I mean, he got real hype with it. So shout out to him. Hopefully we catch you over there at a game, man. And then, of course, some more Galaxy merch here. This one is official by Adidas, and this one is called the OG collection, which begs the question why Inter Miami has a collection, but I digress. Gabriel Peck is sporting the training top and shorts here, and then there's also a training jacket. The jacket's going to run you back $109 on Adidas.com, and the training top is going to be $49.99. I mean, this makes sense this year, I guess, because of the Ryzen kit. But I mean, other than that, not really much that calls back to yesteryear, right?
Yeah, it just has that like retro like template, I guess, right? But like, yeah, the colors. I mean, I guess they had to attribute it to something. So I'm trying to think, Rob, did we ever? I don't think this is the first time we've had this color scheme, right? In any either away or third kit. So yeah, man. But anyways, enough of telling the people how to absolutely drain their wallets. Let's just get this.
Rich Galaxy fans, man. Rich
Galaxy fans. But let's talk to a guy that's smarter than both of us combined.
Yeah, let's do it. Real quick, Carlos, equipment sale, it'll get you gently used or used equipment from the team. Sometimes you'll find some new things there, like new jerseys, definitely like new sweaters and hoodies and training tops and stuff like that, socks, shorts, all kinds of like random Galaxy stuff as well. So go ahead and check it out, man.
Or Zlatan training shirt if you get lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody pick up a Zlatan training top one time, and it's you come up on some great things. Like I said, I mean, I have a couple of different sweaters and like training tops, like things for the cold that I love, and I got them there. I mean, and like I said, you're doing something for a good cause as well. So go ahead and check it out. Good deals as well. But yeah, like Ananda said, now to bring on somebody that is definitely the brains of the operation wherever he goes. Please welcome back to the show the founder of Upper 90, MLS writer and desk editor, Justin Ruderman. Papa, how are you? Welcome back to the show.
Wow, thank you so much for having me on. I hope I can live up to that introduction, but I know that I will not.
Oh no, you'll. I mean, if last time was anything to go by, we're going to be just fine, and the people are going to keep on loving you just like they always done. But Ananda, you look like you had
No.
something.
No. Go for it.
All right,
Let's
so
get into it,
Justin,
man.
thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. So obviously we're gonna get into the Galaxy and the Galaxy start and everything like that. But apart from Galaxylandia, which we're gonna talk plenty about, what's stood out to you about the MLS season so far?
Yeah, it's been a fun one. I think that there's been a lot of shock teams have been the main thing for me. Please nobody go look at my preseason predictions because they're not looking too hot right now. But I love it, especially with the new coaches specifically. I mean, you look in Vancouver with Jesper Sorensen, you look in St. Louis with Olaf Melberg. They're breaking records, right? 4-0 in Vancouver. They're the 7th team ever to do that. St. Louis still hasn't conceded a goal this season. I believe the 3rd team to do that, right?
Berkey's a
So
monster.
yeah, that's part of it. But they did it last week without Berkey. It's a whole team thing. So
Yeah.
it's really, really impressive what these new coaches have come in immediately into MLS and are already showing their abilities. But then there's other teams that I just didn't expect to be this good so early. Philadelphia Union obviously comes to mind. I mean, Ty Baribo leading the Golden Boot race already with 6 goals is a bit crazy. Um, I am a big fan of Bradley Carnell, but I didn't think it would click that quickly in Philadelphia. And same thing with San Diego. It's immediately clicked, right? No Chucky Lozano, no problem for them. He has been out. He barely even contributed before he got injured. And they've been flying high because Anders Dreyer has been incredible. Tverskov in that 6 has been really, really good as well. And just a well-built team there from Mikey Varas. So a lot of teams that you just wouldn't have expected to be so good early in the season. And that is what is so fun about MLS, because in pretty much every other league around the world, you can predict who those top teams will be. You cannot do that in this league.
Maybe Ant is calling you Justin Daddy. So I guess we're gonna have to roll with that one. Although it'll be a little bit weird if I'm just calling you Justin Daddy in the press box. I don't know what people are gonna think about us over there. But anyway, but how
Rob, you're definitely getting us canceled. Yeah, now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're definitely getting us canceled.
It had to happen at some point. Yeah, we're getting canceled. Justin was the last guest on the podcast. Hey, what a way to go out though. But no, there's a lot of teams that you spoke about that you're right have been kind of just where do they come from? Teams that we didn't predict to have the starts that they had, but in terms of the individual. Right, there was a lot of big signings in the offseason unit, and it was kind of a testament to what MLS could do, especially some of the big signings that they brought in. But how have those big signings lived up to the billing so far? So I mean, I'm thinking about your last and Miggy Almiron in Atlanta, Chicho in San Jose, Vasquez in Austin. What do you think about these big signings and what they've done so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously too early to judge that type of thing, but some of them are showing us already. I think Wilfred Zaha has put on a show. Emmanuel Latte-Loth has looked really, really good. There's a few of them throughout the league, but yeah, there are some like Brandon Vasquez who are going to take a little bit more time seemingly to get going. That's normal to me, but I really love just the fact that all these teams are spending so much money. That's the part that I love so much, because going back to those preseason predictions, when I was looking through all the teams, I was just thinking, wow, this has become such a difficult league to predict because there are so many good teams now. Before, I used to be able to pick out, 3, 4, maybe even 5 teams that I could say, all right, these teams probably aren't going to make the playoffs. They're going to struggle this year. I can only pick out maybe 1 or 2 from each conference now, because every team, like a San Jose Earthquakes, who you would previously put at near the bottom of the league, probably, they're spending big on Chicho Arango and players around him to create a very exciting attacking team under Bruce Arena, the greatest American coach ever, probably.
Bruce.
So there's just I'm sure Galaxy fans will agree with that statement. So it's it's really exciting to me how many big players are coming to this league. You broke the MLS transfer record twice this offseason, right? First Kevin Danke in Cincinnati, and then quickly Emmanuel Latte-Loth broke that in Atlanta. So it's just a really exciting time, I think, because of all these new players coming in, and every team basically has an exciting player to go and watch.
Well, and the good news too, Justin, is that we're now, because of the new cash trade rule, we're able to keep that talent. Without that rule, we probably would have lost Joveljic. We probably would have lost players like that. So that's nice too, that Liga MX teams aren't poaching our talent as much as they did previously. So that's good to see as well.
Evander is a great example of that. I think he is top 5 players in this league. I mean, he was he finished second in the MVP race last year for a reason, right? He was incredible. So I think that, he would probably have left this league if not for that rule. But because of that rule, we get to see him week in and week out.
Yeah, we get to see him balling out over there in Cincinnati, man. And it's kind of a shame that Cincinnati crashed out of the Champions League. I would have been very, very interested to see what the Galaxy versus Cincinnati looked like in the Champions Cup. But as much as that we can call that, this is a wide open league, right? There's still one man out there that he's just. So, I mean, he's just good, man. I mean, like, what are you gonna say? I mean, he's the Thanos of the league. Leo Messi is just doing incredible things as usual. He did it over the weekend again in the match against Atlanta. Justin, is their time up? Is Inter Miami now inevitable? Do you get the feeling like this is their year? And if not, who do you think can stop them?
Yeah, I mean, look, they won MLS Cup this year. Right? They already got their Supporters Shield last year. They set their MLS points record incredibly. But now they want that MLS Cup. And the beauty is that anything can happen in the MLS Cup playoffs, as Atlanta showed us last year. Because that's the beauty of a cup run. That's the beauty of a tournament. And I think that, that's what I love about MLS. But on Messi, I mean, who knows? He got seemingly injured again today. He pulled out of the Argentina squad. So who knows if he's going to be, fit and ready to go. But the thing is that last year, Miami showed us they don't necessarily need him to play really, really well. Right. So obviously he helps, right? That asterisk, but they can play really, really well without him as well. So they become a contender regardless in every trophy. When it comes to the Supporter Shield, though, I think they're not even a lock for that this season because the East is so strong, in my opinion, stronger than the West, and that gives Western teams a better chance. But it also means that Miami's going to have to fight a lot more with teams like Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Charlotte at that top of the Eastern Conference. So, they are obviously the best team in the league. I don't think anybody's debating that, but the beauty of MLS is that anything can happen. And even throughout a long season with the grueling travel and everything that comes along with it, we don't know what's going to happen.
We're going to quickly take a look at some of the Western Conference scores here that happened over the weekend. Some notables. Former G, Dejan Joveljic, scored the game-tying goal as Sporting Kansas City came back from 3 down to tie Minnesota. And LAFC lost at home to Austin 1-0. San Jose lost at home to Colorado 2-1. Zach Steffen showing some real good saves and vintage Zach Steffen. St. Louis won again 1-0 at home versus Seattle. Vancouver starts off the season, like Justin said, with 4 straight wins, beating Dallas 1-0. San Diego staying unbeaten with that 1-1 Columbus tie, and RSL beating Houston on the road 2-1. What's the most surprising result over the weekend for you?
I'm not sure the most surprising, but the one that stuck out to me was Sporting Kansas City. I mean, what a game that was. Kansas City go down 3-0, and you're thinking Peter Vermees's job is on the line here because he was, in the hot seat last year, and they're, at the bottom of the Western Conference. They were on 0 points in a 3-0, deficit at that point. And then all of a sudden they find the energy to come back, sparked by Dejan Joveljic at the end there, of course, to find that draw and potentially save Peter Vermees's job this early in the season. That was a really, really crazy just story in that one to me.
No, definitely. You said Peter Vermees is on the hot seat. It seems like the past couple of years at the beginning of the year, he's he's been on the hot seat, and
Yeah.
somehow Sporting Kansas City has figured it out. I remember when the Galaxy were battling with Sporting Kansas City in 2023 for 13th and 14th place. Like, they would just swap those positions like all year. Obviously that wasn't the case last year, but I do remember, them not starting the season well, this year, but they show a lot of heart to get that tie. And again, Galaxy fans, Dejan Jovic gets your game tying goal. Things that are very weird to see is Dejan doing a celebration and not wearing Galaxy colors, but I'm just glad that he's scoring out there, man. And since we're speaking now about the Galaxy, let's get into this match summary here. Playing their third game in the span of 7 days, rather, the Galaxy earned a 1-1 draw against the Portland Timbers in Portland at Providence Park on Sunday afternoon. Santi Moreno and Felipe Mora combined to score Portland's goal shortly after the restart, and then Cristian Ramirez scores equalizing goal in the 81st minute off a lofted pass over the defense by Zanka. And Cristian Ramirez has now recorded 2 goals in 6 appearances in his Galaxy career. Mateus Nascimento made his LA Galaxy and MLS debut as well. He played 17 minutes in the draw. John McCarthy made his return to the sticks with his first start of the 2025 regular season, logging 3 saves in the draw. And that was also his 100th career MLS regular season start. And then Diego Fagundes made his 396th career MLS regular season appearance. And that puts him at 15th all time in MLS history. We do have a super chat here from Adam, and Adam says, did McCarthy prove yet to you guys he should be the starter, or do you guys want to see him against a better team like Minnesota next weekend? Let's go ahead and go with Justin on this one. Let's go ahead and see what you have to say.
Yeah, look, here's my thing. We've known for a while, right, that the Galaxy wanted to shift to Micovic as the starting goalkeeper. That's been probably the case since the beginning of last season, but McCarthy was still proving why he should be between the sticks. Micovic, we kept hearing, was better with his feet. That's the reason why he needs to be. He's the future, right? He's better with his feet, and that's the future of goalkeeping. We all know it, so you got to make the transition eventually. We all know that that's John McCarthy's, not his strong suit, shall we say. But then we see Micovic come in, and he seems to be worse with his feet. He continually keeps making these mistakes over and over again, and I'm just questioning why have I been told that he's so much better with his feet? He doesn't look to be a better shot stopper either, that's for sure.
So, like, someone's lying to me, man.
Look, maybe he's just nervous. Maybe it's just a bad few games for him. Maybe that's the case. But I haven't seen it yet. And to oust your, defending MLS Cup champion goalkeeper who has won 2 MLS Cups in the past 3 years, having been to all 3 of those MLS Cups, it's a little bit of a questionable decision to me. I get the idea behind it, as we just discussed, but the reasoning has to play out on the field. And right now it's not. I think that Greg Vanney doesn't want to, pull the trigger and destroy Micovic's confidence immediately. But as we saw, they get that win in the Champions Cup, and then immediately McCarthy and the rest of that squad get the start in MLS play as well. So it will be interesting to see, as that chatter said, who starts against Minnesota.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and touch on the lineup, which was, as you correctly pointed out, the same lineup that won 4-1 against Herediano midweek. But Ananda, your takes on Adam's query. We had said, just like Justin pointed out, I mean, they wanted to go with Micovic for a while. They did. It hasn't looked really that convincing so far. What's your take?
Yeah, no, I mean, we have a whole section dedicated on it later, so I do want to save it a little bit. But all I'll say is I do want to see. I want to see him start. I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding, and we can talk into a little bit about the X's and O's of why. Justin, rightly and accurately pointed out some of the things or some of the thinking or thought process behind the coaching staff behind their support with Micovic. But he's right. The thing that they were banking on, he hasn't really shown a consistent ability on top of that, right? And again, one thing I will harp on later is decision making too. I think that's a big thing with goalkeepers. And so again, I'm going to save that a little bit, but yeah, I do want to see them, or I do want to see McCarthy for sure start in Minnesota this weekend for multitude of reasons.
XPH sliding into the chat with
Shout out
super chat.
XPH.
Thank you so much. He says, Buenas noches, Cuneros. That assist and CR goal took me back to the early 2000s. Home Yingbo assist to Carlos Ruiz. Early days of former Home Depot Center. Not sure if you guys know which goal I'm talking about. I don't know the Home Yingbo assist to Carlos Ruiz, but let us know which of the 4 goals that you're talking about in that match. We've already talked about which one was our favorite goal in that one. Personally, I mean, that Harbor Miller assist was great. Ananda liked that one for the no look Peck pass on the lead up. But yeah, XPH, let us know which goal was your favorite one and which goal you're referencing. That's kind of reminiscent of those early 2000s. Justin, we mentioned this lineup, how it wasn't changed from midweek against Herediano. We've seen a lot of youth in this lineup, and we've seen players like Miguel Berry who have, I'm going to borrow your phrase, we've been told, that he's not a starter, right? But he's been, pretty decent at leading the line. So do you think this lineup has done enough to force Greg Vanney into a dramatic rethink regarding what his best 11 is going forward? Or do you think, this is just a product of the times of what he has right now, personnel-wise? And do you think we'll see that lineup kind of change once some more players come back from injury?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that number one, he is still trying to figure out what his best 11 is and how he's going to exactly work things out without Ricky Puig there. That's we're only 4 games in, or not counting Champions Cup, 6 games in. That's not enough time to figure it out for Greg Vanney, and he's still doing that. That said, of course, you don't have Joseph Painsil. Marco Royce is still struggling, and that's going to throw a wrench in kind of the plans that you had coming into the season. So there will be changes going forward, but I think that you're seeing, especially in that midfield, kind of maybe the way that things are going to go forward, especially with Parente soaking up a lot of minutes and playing well so far. So I think there are pieces, but maybe the Barry piece, I don't think he'll be the starter. Like, I think Ramirez will be the starter going forward, but Barry will obviously still play a key part in this team because you don't have one striker up top.
Yeah, well, the good news is too, Rob, from a Galaxy perspective, this is we've talked about it before, man. This is good for depth, right? So depending on who the opposition is, or especially when the schedule gets congested, if we make a deep Leagues Cup run, Greg has options, and this builds depth, and this is what we want, right? And this is, evidence of that was MLS Cup final not having Ricky, and you throw in Gaston Brugman, who had an MVP performance, right? Like, that's the type of depth that you want to build, especially in an MLS roster. And we've talked about it before, man. The young guys stepping into this role, that's been a huge positive for Greg. Not sure if us Galaxy fans were counting on that this year. So just having that even as an option and seeing the kids play so well and what Greg is asking his team to do, I think is a huge positive, and it builds depth, right? Especially in that midfield while we have a couple guys out.
Yeah, well, while we have a couple guys out, it's just somebody like Parente, is supposedly Lucas Sanabria's understudy. However, Lucas Sanabria has come in, and to be fair to him, he only played 2 games and they had short time in preseason. But Parente has looked better in his limited minutes than Sanabria has. Of course, he's been in the system longer. He knows the system. But it's just, my point here is that, once Sanabria comes back, and if he takes over that starting position again, you're going to be able to bring somebody like an Isaiah Parente off the bench and really have no drop off in quality. I mean, it's a different skill set, but you'll still have somebody who knows Greg Vanney's system, will still be able to make the ball take over and keep the ball when he needs to, be tidy on the rock. And yeah, I mean, that's really gratifying to see across some of the lineup as well. I mean, like a la Harbor Miller, I mean, being even Mauricio Cuevas is understudy, the third option coming in and being able to take that role.
And the good thing, Rob, is it relieves pressure off of Sanabria and Wynder to step in and perform right away, right? You got to think Sanabria is moving to a completely different country. This is a completely different situation for him. He's a young guy. We sometimes forget about sort of the off the field stuff that these players go through and the experiences, right? And so I think it buys them time, and that's great. That's a great thing. Wynder, stepping up from USL to MLS, so it puts a little less pressure off of these guys, which I think it'll help their natural progression a little bit, so that they don't feel the pressure, whether it's from the media, from fans, to perform right away and just kind of ease into the team and, hit that performance peak level at the right time.
I actually spoke to Christian Ramirez about this the other day, and I asked him how he was getting acclimated, and he's dealing with stuff like, finding a new school for his daughter, making sure that his folks are settled, that his family's settled. We saw it a couple years ago with Diego when he came in. We know that he was in an Airbnb for a couple months. He wasn't settled. His routine was off. Christian Ramirez alluded to that as well. We just want to get back into our routine, myself, my wife, and it's a very real thing. I mean, we've talked about it. It's the human side to life, right? And then having to go out and it's still their job, having to go perform at work. And I'm sure if somebody threw us into a really weird environment and was like, okay, now go do your best at work, it would be a little bit off for us as well. But guys, we've talked about the 1-1 draw, and now that leaves the Galaxy with a 1-1-2 record in the last 4 matches played at Providence Park. In the last 9 regular season matches played there, they hold a 4-1-4 record. And 6 matches played across all competitions to begin the 2025 campaign. The Galaxy hold a 1-4-1 record. So still, that's an ugly record there. But just the past 2 performances give some leeway there. So a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of hope, right? And those last 2 matches that I'm talking about, that's been since March 12th, just the past 5 days. They've scored 5 goals and have shipped 2. Ananda, go ahead and give us the story of this Portland match through numbers.
Yeah, so thanks again to Galaxy Comms for providing us this. This is the sort of the final box score. So again, it was a 1-1 match, pretty low on the XG front. You look at the underlying stats, Rob, both under 1 XG, 0.82 generated by the Timbers to the Galaxy's 0.71. I will go back to some of these a little bit later because I think the interesting part was it was kind of a different game. It was a tale of 2 halves. If you look at the stats, 14 shots for the Galaxy to Portland's 8. And if you break that down a little bit more, Portland had 4 shots on target. The G's had 3 big chances. Portland with 1 big chance that they finished. Of course, that was the Mora goal. And then Galaxy with 2 big chances on their side, and Christian Ramirez putting home one of those. Possession stats pretty even at the end of the game, 52% for the Galaxy to 48. So not as a dominant of a possession game that we've seen for the Galaxy. But again, I'm going to double click on that in just a second. 555 completed passes to 492 for the Portland Timbers, 91% accuracy for the Galaxy to 89% for the Portland Timbers. And I think it was interesting, Rob, if you look at the stats, I pulled this up. So this is kind of parsing out the difference between the first half and the second half. It was really a game of 2 halves. In the first half, it was a display where Portland really had a better foothold of the game. And I think it shows on the stats. The Galaxy had more shots in the second half there. You see 9-5 expected goals. We generated more high quality chances in the second half. You remember, Rob, so aside from the goal, there was also that Miguel Berry. I don't know if it was like a little toe flick or a little back flick that unfortunately just didn't come off, but he was so close in the vicinity of the net. Goalkeeper was just in the right position. Again, we had 5 shots at goal within the box versus 2 in the first half. So, and here's another thing I'll add to. So right there, you see the ball possession phases.
Look how it's the sitters.
Yeah, sitters. I don't know which one I mean, the Christian Ramirez one, maybe when he chested it off, that might have been a sitter. But man, that was not an easy first touch over the shoulder, right? That was a really, really nice first touch. But what I wanted to say was in the second half, Galaxy it shows the ball possession phases there. So it's basically the periods where the Galaxy had the ball. Galaxy had 397 versus, I believe, Portland had 170 in the second half. And we always talk about that stat, Rob, of how dominant we are, whether we're playing in the opposition zone as much as we normally do, right? That's typically sort of a hallmark of a Greg Vanney system, especially when he has guys like Ricky Puig and those guys that sort of make the offense flow. But remember that stat that I always like, Rob, passes in the opposition half. In the first half, Portland had 170 passes in our half, while the Galaxy had 130. In the second half, that role completely flipped. The Galaxy had 177 passes in Portland's half versus 73 only. So again, it shows that, especially after that first goal, I think the Galaxy sort of flipped the switch. We started playing more possession Vanney ball, controlling possession in the opposition zone, not creating as many clear chances as maybe we saw in Herediano, but we got, a couple of chances off, especially that one with Christian Ramirez. So, yeah. But and again, as we said in the top of the show, we escaped out of there with a point. I think it was a hard fought point. And the Galaxy probably, I would say, grew into the game in the second half. And yeah, but in the end, it was a stalemate.
Justin, Greg Vanney told us in the post-match that the Galaxy dominated the second half, right? That they had the more clear-cut chances, and they generally looked on the front foot. What do you think the difference between the first two, the first and the second halves were?
It's a good question. I admittedly did not get to watch the game as intensely as I would have hoped. I was on my way to the Angel City game. But
wait, was that opening day?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Good on him.
Yeah. No, it was a good one. They also had a hard fought 1-1 draw, courtesy of a very nice Alyssa Thompson goal. But anyway, yeah, I think it's interesting because the same thing kind of happened in St. Louis, in the St. Louis game, although the opposite, where Galaxy dominated that first half and then fell off in the second half, right? So it's one of those things where they got to be able to put together a full 90 performance and against a good team to knock it off. So we're going to have to see if that's what they're going to be able to do going forward. I think that these have probably been their, as Anonymous, I think, was saying, right, that this they're building, right? They looked okay in that St. Louis game. They looked much better in the Herediano game, and then they come back into MLS play, seemingly starting to build on that, especially in the second half. But you're doing that against a Costa Rican side and a Portland side who seemingly are not too good this season. Can you do it against a better team in the next couple of weeks, like Minnesota? And then I believe they have another more difficult, Orlando, coming up after that, right? Two more difficult opponents. So if the Galaxy can then reproduce this growing mentality in these next couple matches, that will be a very good sign because I think there'll be tougher tests than what they've seen in the past couple of weeks.
Guys, we have a question from Maybe Ant. He says, for all three of you, does LAFC possibly acquiring Griezmann, does that put any pressure on the Galaxy in the Western Conference? I think I speak for all of us when I say, obviously, that it's not good for any other team because Griezmann's a quality player. But really quick for Justin, how close is that deal? Like, what have you heard on that deal? Does it seem like it's going to get over the line?
It's one of those deals that it seems like it's going to get over the line. It seems like it's been in the process for a long, long time. And it's just kind of one of those of whenever Griezmann decides that it's time, that he wants to finish his European career and come over to MLS, which is something that he has, long talked about, then obviously LAFC has been the spot for him with his French teammates, Hugo Lloris and Olivier Giroud, and was his very good friend, Carlos Vela. So, and not that they're no longer friends, that Carlos Vela is no longer with the team, to be clear. So yeah, it's the perfect landing spot. The discussions have long been had with the club since years. So I think it probably happens this summer because I think that that's the best time. I think that he was just kind of waiting for this last season with Atletico Madrid, see if they can make a run at La Liga, if they can make a run in the Champions League. They're almost doing it in La Liga. I don't think they're quite going to be able to pull it off. And it's been a very good team. Obviously, they had the additions of Julian Alvarez, and that got him excited, so he wanted to stick around. But I think that, the reports seemingly say that he has decided it's time. It's always seemed like this upcoming summer would be a good time for him to do it. And as well, LAFC seemingly have set that up with the addition of Cengiz Ünder, whose loan is only through the summer, and then he could seemingly depart for an open DP slot for Antoine Griezmann.
Do you see any team in MLS being able to hijack that, or is it pretty much Greasy's like LAFC? If I'm going to go to MLS, it's going to be LAFC.
Yeah, I do not think it's going to be a Marco Royce situation, unfortunately. I think that, he wants to be with those French guys, his teammates that he wants to, be with and make sense. And who knows, maybe Carlos Vela will come back for a cameo like he did last season.
Did he play in that cameo at all?
He very briefly did play. He substituted on, but not very many minutes for sure.
I mean, he was in the team photo though, so we know it was real. Let's bring it back to this goalkeeper situation. Why? Because I'm petty and I like Cheeseman.
Oh, he loves his Cheeseman, Justin. I'm pretty sure you should know by now. Love Cheeseman.
So yeah, like I said, I love the Cheeseman. So we've been talking to Greg about this since the CVI, Ananda and I, Justin, and he said what you said at the top, right? That they've been trying to make that Micovic switch since the beginning of last year at the CVI, and John came in and just kind of changed their minds. Basically, he had such good performances that he kind of threw a wrench in all the plans that they had around Novak, and now you're seeing Greg try again, basically, and we've already spoken about how it hasn't gone well. Justin, you've brought up that Novak was supposed to be better with his feet. One of the things that we always rib good-naturedly on is, John always be throwing, which we've discovered is now actually like way safer because, Novak's gone out there and played a couple of passes that have been questionable. So when in doubt, kick it out, I guess. But as you look at this goalkeeper situation, obviously Greg starts John McCarthy now in this Portland match. John gets his first MLS start. Do you think we see Micovic again in the league, or is it John's place to lose? And what does McCarthy offer that Micovic currently doesn't?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
For Justin.
I think I think that it's an interesting one, like I said, because he kept the whole team from Herediano, right? He kept the entire starting 11. So is it that he made that switch for McCarthy finally, or is it that it was just he wanted to continue that because he liked what he saw in that second leg? That's the question that I think we're going to have decided in Minnesota. I think if we see McCarthy start in Minnesota, then that's the decision. Then it's back to McCarthy because he I believe openly talked about the fact that he didn't want to destroy Micovic's confidence by just pulling him, and then he did that a couple games later in this Portland game, right? So we'll have to see, is he just doing that temporarily and bringing Micovic back to show him, no, I still have faith in you, or is it time?
Well, Ananda's already said that it's John. It should be John. I'm not really sure which way Vanney is going to go. It's a tough decision because John McCarthy won you MLS Cup, and so far in the opportunities you've given this young promising keeper, he hasn't really shown up for you. So it's going to be a hard one because if you persist with Micovic and it doesn't go well, then it's going to be one of those things that should the season continue to not go well, people are going to keep continuing to talk about and harp on. But good luck to both of them, honestly. I mean, I really do think that Micovic is a good keeper. I mean, he just had a couple of bad plays, and unfortunately it's been on high profile matches, like the first Sunday night soccer game, where he gives up a gift. But I mean, it's one of those things where Greg's going to be questioned either way, I think.
You know what it is, Rob, for me at least, and I don't know from your guys' eye test, but I feel like John McCarthy just makes winning plays. And maybe Justin, from your coverage of LAFC, when he was on LAFC, I mean, the guy just knows how to win, and he doesn't do anything spectacular. Although I will say he made a spectacular save in the second half, right, Rob? He kind of pulled his, I don't know if he pulled his hamstring or what happened. He made that save and he was kind of on the floor for a little bit, but he seemed to be okay from that knock. But he just makes winning plays. I don't know if you caught this, Rob. In the first half, there was a cross coming in, and we talk about Micovic. The other thing we talked about the goalkeepers is commanding in the box, right? Or having that presence in the box. I mean, the guy flung himself out to hit that cross, and he gobbled it up. And these are little things that we talk about with goalkeepers: is presence, communication, leadership, just being an absolute rock back there and making winning plays and knowing when to come out and knowing when to stay in your 6-yard box. I mean, all that stuff comes from experience, and that's the interesting conundrum that Greg is in, which is, are you going to give time to give Micovic that experience, but then you're going to live by the sword, die by the sword, right? So, man, it's super interesting, and this could go either way, guys. Like, super, super interesting. I know, Rob, you're going to be on top of that cheese May for sure. Every press conference,
all day,
every day.
Justin, you're Greg Vanney. You're setting the lineup for Minnesota. Who are you starting in goal?
I'm starting John McCarthy. There's no question about that. But I think Ananda's making a great point, is that John McCarthy is a big game player. He comes up with these big moments. That is shown by the fact that he is a penalty specialist. He has always shown up in those big moments, and that's when he came to national prominence in that 2022 MLS Cup, when Maxime Crepeau broke his leg in extra time, and John McCarthy had to step up, and he did not allow a single goal to hit the back of the net in that penalty shootout, and won it in the most dramatic fashion for LAFC. So I think that, yeah, he's done an incredible job. He also made a really big save in extra time to prevent to let it go to penalties, which I think people forget about oftentimes in that game too, right? So he doesn't just do it in penalties; he does it in open play too. I think that people honestly don't give him enough credit for how good his shot stopping is, because they're so focused on the fact that his the ball at his feet is not the best. And I think that I think that I'm not one of these people who is going to say, if they're better with their feet, then just play them, because I ultimately think that a goalkeeper is there to stop goals from going into the back of the net. And I still think, and I still think McCarthy is better than that at that than Micovic. And if that means that he's throwing the ball out with his hands, if that means that he's, punting it out of bounds a couple times, so be it.
Y'all heard it here first. So be it, for sure. No, I agree with you, man. Ananda's brought up stats, about McCarthy's distribution, but so far, if the worst that'll happen is you'll get 1 or 2 balls kicked out for throw-ins. I'm okay with that too. So in this one, the Galaxy get the tying goal in the 81st off that Christian Ramirez goal from the Zanka pass, right? And then they're holding on for the 1-1 tie, and all of a sudden you have this polemic play at the end, which I honestly thought I was like, I threw my pen and I was like, all right, it's done. Like, and the good Lord on a high decided for whatever reason to spare the Galaxy in this one. But there was a penalty shout from Portland, and maybe we'll just go ahead and play the clip and have the folks decide what they see on this one.
If I can get it on the stage, there we go.
Can you rewind that one?
Yeah, because I couldn't bring it up the first time.
Oof.
You guys be the judge. I mean, seriously, guys. Oh, the good Lord sometimes, does his deed. And
I mean, Justin, it's got to be given, right? Like it's clear cut. I mean, Ananda's a Galaxy fan. I cover the Galaxy, and I'm going to sit here and say all day it's got to be a penalty. What did you see here? I mean, what is the saving grace for Garces on this play?
There is none. I was in the Angel City press box watching this game with some other media that covers Galaxy, and we were all watching this game together, just stunned with our jaws on the floor because we could not believe that the Galaxy just got away with this. The Galaxy needed a point this season, and they got one.
Yeah, no, this was incredible. Like I said, the play happened. I literally threw my pen, and then it wasn't given. And I looked up, and I hadn't lit my candles to the Saints, and they were still looking out for the Galaxy anyway. And I was just very surprised that this somehow wasn't given. I believe Phil Neville was quoted post game, and he said that the referee told several Portland players that it was a penalty. However, Ari Lassiter took a shot and played on, so that's why they didn't give it.
Right.
I don't know if this is like within the bounds of correct officiating. I don't know if that's really the way the penalty rule works.
I don't think so. But Rob,
you can play advantage there, but if he misses that shot, which he does,
there is no advantage, right?
There is no advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. Rob, it made me forget or forgive, I guess, the red card that wasn't against Sanabria. So you guys are good. I'm good with that one now.
Yeah.
It's tit for tat, right? Like you get some called against you, you get some called for you. I guess that's just the way it works.
Yeah, no, the Galaxy have had a couple calls go against them this year. I mean, it looks like that one is the one that goes in their favor. But this is only possible because, like I mentioned, Zanka plays that ball over the top to Christian Ramirez for the tie. I did get to speak to Greg about why he went with Zanka over Emi Garces. Of course, Emi Garces pretty much took over the starting spot last year, and it hasn't relinquished it up until this Wednesday when Zanka was in the starting lineup. And then we saw Emi Garces on the right as a right back, which he played pretty well at. But then the game against Portland, he's also not in the starting lineup. It's Zanka and Yoshida as the partnership. And one of the things that was interesting about this match and this goal is that for all the possession that the Galaxy have and for how they want to play, it was a ball over the top. It was just a simple ball over the top that got the job done right at the end of the day. But that's only possible because Zanka has the passing range to pull that off. Actually, one of the reasons that Greg gave us the other day for his inclusion in the lineup. But like I mentioned, I got to ask him why in a league match he went with Zanka over Emi Garces, and he had this to say.
Zanka played in Natamiro because he's more under control, and he's more involved in when we're in possessions and we're in build. Zanka is seeking to be involved, wants the ball, and gives us that extra sort of number in possession that sometimes I feel like Emi, we need him to be more involved, more willing to get on the ball, will help us in possessions. And I think his decisions defensively need to become more consistently reliable. He obviously has an incredible ability to track people down and to make these incredible plays. But inside of all of that, I want him to grow and understand, the positional responsibilities, the priorities, how, playing next to somebody, all the things that are, I think, details that are going to be important for him to continue to improve as a player, and for him to be able to reach the next level of what he's able to do. These are things that I want from him, and, he's aware of that.
Justin, you see Greg talk about, the things that Zanka brings to the lineup that Emi Garces does not. Is Garces a casualty of Ricky Puig not being on the field?
Potentially. Because Ricky would come so deep and just take the ball off the center backs and carry it up himself that you wouldn't need necessarily the center backs to build as much as you will now. Uh, but that's the first time I'm hearing that response. It's an interesting one to me because it's kind of the opposite of why Emmy took the spot from Jalen Neal in the first place. Was just that Emmy was a better defender and that Jalen Neal, even though he was better in possession, was not good enough defensively that it was worth putting Emmy in the starting lineup. Now I guess, Zanka, doesn't struggle defensively in the way that Jalen Neal would. So his possession addition is worth it, I guess, to Greg Vanney, which is kind of the reverse situation. But yeah,
Reverse Uno card.
Sorry?
The reverse Uno card.
Exactly. But it's kind of a good lesson to learn as a player that, even if I'm better than this guy, there's always another guy that I have to beat. You know what I mean? To get that starting spot. And as a young player for Amiro Garces, that's a good lesson to learn, that just because I got that starting spot last season doesn't mean I have it this season.
So Galaxy go ahead and get this tie. First point of the year. But obviously everybody knows they haven't started well. Does a result like this kickstart the season, or is it just a tie and they keep moving?
Yeah, look, I hope so. But as I mentioned earlier, I think the results have been, against lower opposition, shall we say, Costa Rican side and Timber side, who I don't expect to be particularly good, having lost their best player. But so again, in the next coming weeks, if we see them continue to build as we see them against Minnesota and Orlando, two teams that I think are definitely playoff teams in their respective conferences this year, that will be bigger tests to me than a Portland team or a team from Costa Rica.
Based on everything you've seen so far from the Galaxy, the rest of the league, the extenuating circumstances like the injuries to the Galaxy, are Galaxy fans right to be worried right now, or do you think that the Galaxy will be all right and you preach patience?
I think that they'll be all right in the sense that they're still going to be a playoff team, but they're not going to be obviously as good as last year, and they are going to have their struggles. Whether they're going to be able to truly compete, I think is yet to be seen. And so there is worry in that sense from Galaxy fans, but they're not going to be horrible. They're not going to stick around the bottom of the Western Conference as they are right now. So don't freak out too heavily in that sense, I would think. The injuries and everything that has come together in this early season has been a bad, it's been struggle, but that's usually the case for MLS Cup champions. Obviously, it's a little worse for the Galaxy, as we know, because of those injuries. But it's a normal thing to see, and usually they will kind of balance out as the season goes along.
Chat, we have come to the part of the show where you give us your defending the badge winner for the week. We are going to put our homie Justin on the spot here in a moment, and he will tell us who he thinks was the standout performer for the Galaxy. But we have your four nominees here: Christian Ramirez, Tucker Lepley, Zanka Jorgensen, and Isaiah Parente. Christian Ramirez scored his first goal for the Galaxy in MLS play. He had 3 passes into the final third, 1 recovery, 1 duel won, and fouled once in his very limited cameo. Tucker Lepley had his second start in a row, 90% pass accuracy, 2 chances created, 6 passes into the final third, 2 clearances, 4 recoveries, and 6 duels won. Zanka, first career assist for the Galaxy, 1 chance created, 20 passes into the final third. Interesting stat here. Justin, you were talking about the ability to play the ball, being better in possession. There it is. 20 passes in the final third. Zanka showing his vision as well on the assist. He had 1 block, 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, 2 recoveries, and 2 duels won. And Isaiah Parente, 91% pass accuracy, 1 chance created, 8 passes into the final third, a clearance, interception, 9 recoveries, 5 duels won, and fouled 3 times. Justin, I know you said you didn't watch this game as closely as you wanted to, but in in your limited viewing, did you have a stand-up performer for this match?
Yeah, I was actually going to say Julian Aude. From what I thought he was very good. He might not have stood out on the stat sheet as much as these guys, but I thought that he was very good on the offensive and the defensive end. He was winning most of his duels. He was getting forward a lot to make an impact there. So yeah, I thought that, and just like on the ball, he was very calm, very controlled, wasn't making mistakes throughout the game. So I thought that he was very, very good in that game. But if you make me pick one of these four, I'm taking Tucker Lepley. Go Bruins.
There we go. Nice. Tucker's got the call from Justin here. Anandita, since I went first last time, that's you, man.
You love that game. Going first as always. But anyways,
I went first last time.
Well, I was in between two, and Justin took one of mine, so I will take the other guy, and that is Christian Ramirez, man. You know, I'm so glad that he's like a seasoned veteran. He's been in this league. He knows basically this the ins and outs and sort of the finer details of this league, because I was in that stadium, Rob, when there was that play. This was the home game against St. Louis. He was charging after the ball, took a horrible first touch. He was clean through 1-on-1v1 against the keeper, took a horrible first touch, and then the chant of "We want Barry" ensued, right? And that to me was like a really, really interesting moment. And then, of course, he got hooked just 2 minutes after that. So I think for a guy to have the bounce backs that he has in the last two games, 2 goals in the last 2 games, I think is just a testament to his character. And, we always talk about defending the badge, Rob. It's always about representing the shirt, but it's also just about how you carry yourself in tough situations and tough moments. And I'm just proud of this guy that he was able to bounce back. And even, I don't know if it was in jest or was tongue in cheek or if the fans were being serious, but no, hearing something like that is not always a good thing, right? It's never good to hear stuff like that, especially as a player. But you got to take it on the chin and you got to work harder. And Christian's really done that. And he's found himself 2 goals in the last 2 games. So I got to give him defending the badge, man, for bouncing back and being that offensive scoring punch these last couple of games.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll be a surprise based on everything that I've said about his stat line. Zanka is my pick for the week. I mean, he just his passing range, what he's able to do with getting the ball forward, and then the defensive end as well. But he has a vision to set up this goal. Obviously, Christian Ramirez has something to do to bring it down and control it and put it on goal. But again, I mean, for all the possession the Galaxy had, all it took was one Zanka pass over the top, and the Galaxy are tied up. But of course, it doesn't matter what I think or Justin think or Ananda thinks. It's you folks that have voted for the defending the badge winner this week. And the winner with 92 million votes is Christian Ramirez, picking up his first defending the badge win this year. Congratulations, CR17. I mean, may they keep on going. May they keep on flowing. That's 2-2 for the man now. So hopefully they keep on coming for him. Now let's go ahead and take a look at these MLS standings. The Galaxy, after 4 matches, hold a 0-3-1 record, 2 goals for, 8 against, 1.25 points per game, still -6 goal difference, 15th place, last, tied with SKC and Houston.
Fun times, Rob. Fun times.
Yeah, no, definitely fun times. And Ananda, now it's your favorite time, MLS power rankings time. We have.
Come on, after 4 weeks, we're going over power rankings. I should have deleted the slide from the presentation, but I will go with it.
Yeah, no. I mean, we're going for it because we have a question here for Justin after this.
Okay.
So ESPN power ranking, the Galaxy are down one more spot now to 26th. They were previously 25th. SI has them, that Sports Illustrated has them up 1 spot to 22nd, so they actually climbed. They were previously 23rd. Goal.com is that gives them 22nd. They actually fell there. Justin, you just heard Ananda just kind of poo-poo here on the power rankings. First, do you think it's way too early to even have power rankings? And then
yes.
Are these? I was asking Justin, sir. Wait your turn. So Justin, are these way too soon to be having power rankings? And then are they an accurate reflection on what you were seeing on the Galaxy's current state?
No, Ananda, it's never too early for power rankings. Power rankings, all they say is what's going on right now. What have we seen so far this season? So far this season, these are accurate because the Galaxy have not been too good so far this season. Hopefully that changes going forward. But yeah, they don't mean much. I'll agree with Ananda, but they're never too early to have some fun with them.
Yeah, 4-game sample size, Rob. Come on. Like, you're really going to judge a team after 4 games? Come on. Let's give it 10, 15. Let's get to critical. What's that? I'm not a mathematician, but, get to the critical.
Bro, you know how
Critical
petty
maths.
I am. You know I'll judge a team after a half. Anyway,
Yeah, fair.
we want to thank our homie, our friend, our compadre, Justin Ruderman, for being on the show today. Justin, before you get out of here, would you care to let the folk know where they can find you, and then where your next articles are going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I make YouTube videos on my channel Upper 90 intermittently, but more importantly, I write articles, MLSsoccer.com, SBIsoccer.com. Go check those ones out. Gonna have some really cool content coming out soon on both of those. So yeah, just tune into there. And I hate to advertise it, but if you want to keep up with me on Twitter, just at Justin Ruderman _, is where you'll find me, and that'll be where all my stuff is.
Oh no, definitely advertise yourself, man.
No, I just mean the Twitter part,
yeah,
Fair.
yeah, that part. But yeah, somebody said, I think it was maybe Ant said earlier, Justin Daddy knows ball. I can confirm.
And he also said clip that, so you will be clipped, Rob.
I mean,
brace yourself.
It's all good. I mean, the things that they've probably clipped of me already, people probably have me crying from the El Tanque episode. Anyway, it's all good. But no, Justin does know ball. You do want to follow him. You do want to follow Upper 90. You do want to check out that content. And for us, all we can say is thanks again, man, for coming on. We do appreciate it. We will see you next time at the digs. And who knows, maybe at an Angel City game too. I love the fact that you're bringing that coverage into the city, man.
Absolutely. You guys got to come out. It's a great time.
Justin, gracias, papa. We will see you very soon. And then let's go ahead and bring it on home, Ananda. Next on this humble little pod on Thursday, March 20th, we'll bring you our Galaxy versus Minnesota preview pod. And then a week from today, on Monday, March 24th, we'll bring you a Galaxy versus Minnesota reaction for that match happening on Saturday, March 22nd. And I think that brings us to the end. If you're here, it's because you found us on youtube.com/@LacunaGalaxiana. Anything to add, Anandita?
Nope. Just everyone, just stay safe, stay dry. It's a little cold out there for sure. I mean, it was weird, man. I woke up this morning, a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden just started pouring again. So definitely have yourselves an amazing week, guys. We will see you back here on Thursday. And talk about Minnesota, which will be a tough test. That's for darn sure. Allianz Field has not been a happy hunting ground for the LA Galaxy.
Guneros, from myself, from Justin Ruderman, and from Ananda Kirana, we want to say thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you again soon as Thursday. One thing left to say: LA strong, vamos campeones, and G's up.